Residents rally against Sherbourne Street development. Welcome to Regent Park TV. On July 22, 2024, Sherbourne Street residents, supported by the Regent Park Neighborhood Association, held a press conference outside City Hall to oppose the proposed development at 191-201 Sherbourne Street. They highlighted issues such as insufficient community meetings, lack of information updates, short notice for meetings, and delayed documentation. Frustration was expressed over committee discussions and unaddressed concerns. Media coverage amplified their call for City Hall to review the application on October 9, 2024, ensuring proper information dissemination and community involvement. They demand facilitated meetings with developer representatives to address their concerns directly. This press conference underscores the residents' determination to ensure their voices are heard and their community's interests are protected.
Good morning, friends. My name is Walid Kogali Ali, and I'm a community organizer, and I'm very proud to join this press conference. We're going to be hearing from residents on Sherbourne Street, residents that are impacted at 191 and 200 Sherbourne. We'll also have allies from 135 Isabella Street and 145 St. George Street, friends from No Dim Evictions. And today we're going to be discussing the community outrage due to the lack of adequate consultation related to the development at the proposed development at 191 and 200 Sherbourne Street, a development that's been led by Fitzrovia. So I'm going to provide some context before we get thoughts from the residents that are deeply impacted by this development. So homeowners and residents of Sherbourne Street are expressing grave concerns over the proposed development at 191, 201 Sherbourne Street, citing a significant lack of community consultation and transparency. The development proposed by Fitzrovia on behalf of Ontario Holdings Ltd and AIMCo, which is an Alberta Investment Management Corporation, threatens to irreversibly impact the community and its residents' quality of life. I'm going to quickly sum up some of the key issues. Firstly, insufficient community meetings. The community has only had one meeting on September 5th, 2021, right after the Labor Day long weekend, when many residents were unavailable. Secondly, the lack of information updates. Essential developments on the proposal, including meetings and updates, have not been adequately communicated on the City of Toronto website. Thirdly, short notice for meetings. The notice regarding the July 10th committee meeting that just occurred this month was distributed on June 19th, 2024, providing only 20 days notice and limited reach, leaving many residents unaware of the critical meeting and its consequences. Delayed documentation. The draft decision report and zoning bylaw amendments comprising over 50 pages of technical documentation were posted just days before the meeting. How is that fair? Barely meeting legal requirements and preventing thorough community review and response. We believe that the discussions at the committee were superficial. Despite presenting convincing arguments against the proposal, community members observed a lack of understanding and engagement from the committee members, with no evidence of community support for the development. We want to highlight two very important primary concerns. This development does not deliver on affordable housing. The new development threatens to gentrify the community, making housing unaffordable for current residents. Secondly, dim evictions. There's significant fear that current tenants would be forced out of their homes to make way for the new development. Our community is united. Tenants at 191 and 200 Sherbourne and homeowners on Sherbourne Street and surrounding streets. We believe that City Council should consider the merits of the application at its meeting on October 9th, 2024. This will allow for proper information dissemination, communal discussion, interactions with our elected officials, our engagement with the broader public, and a development of a communal strategy that will address the gaps in this development. So I'm going to invite our next speaker, and I want to emphasize that the community has also demanded facilitated meetings with the developer and landowner with particular emphasis on the need for AIMCo representatives to address residents' concerns directly. So our first speaker is Serge Zerov. Serge Zerov is a resident in the city of Toronto. He lives on Sherbourne Street, and he is deeply concerned about this application and will share his thoughts as to why he's here today to demand that this decision is not considered on this coming Wednesday at City Council, but in October 2024. Serge?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Violet. So Violet outlined many of our concerns. I'll try to be brief, not to repeat myself. So I live in the street and own a property right in the Sherbourne Street, and the whole street will be detrimentally affected by this development in its current form. There are many issues: traffic issues, parking issues, induced winds, blocking of natural light. And this development is appalling from the point of view of architecture and city planning. It goes against everything the City of Toronto planned for the area, against the garden area development plans, against the Sherbourne and Dundas rejuvenation plans. Essentially, the fact that the planning office of the City of Toronto agreed to this development, by this act, they throw everything into the garbage what they did themselves, right? So now there was no consultation whatsoever on the behalf of the city. We had only one meeting last year, which was held in September, right after the long weekend, over Zoom. Community expressed concerns. Nobody spoke in favor of this development. And I personally thought that this development proposal is dead on arrival. But 1 year later, as Walid expressed, suddenly we are presented with hundreds of pages of documents, which essentially are without a change the proposed development with all its detrimental effects. And in rush, the committee pushed this development forward. The committee is presided by the Councillor Moyes, who arguably has a conflict of interest because he is financed, his campaign received multiple contributions from the family of the owner of Fitzrovia, as well as from the employees of Fitzrovia. So and also he on occasions talked about Fitzrovia helping in his community events. So there is at least an apparent conflict of interest, and yet he was presiding over the committee meeting and pushed forward this proposal, which to me is clearly a violation of good practices. Now, who does this? So this development, in my opinion, doesn't have any social benefits. Who does it benefit? This development benefits the developer, who is able to build an expensive high-margin structure, and to the landowner, who will receive a windfall from the appreciation of the land due to the political action. I think this is not a good city government practice to approve such as a development. So I have a conversation with a representative of Councillor Moyes, who attended a meeting in my house of the residents, right? And Councillor Moyes, the representative Taylor Johnson, his chief of staff, told us that the city cannot do anything because the provincial government passed the Laws Amendment 185, which prevents the city from doing anything. This is not true. The city can protect the interests of Torontonians, and they can bring the objection to this development, so they can object the development, and the developer is free to bring it to the Ontario Land Tribunal, where we will be able to attach ourselves to these proceedings and thus have our say and protect our rights. So the city doesn't do it. Now my question is, if the city cannot protect interests of the Torontonians, why do we need the city? Maybe we should make the Toronto, the department of the provincial government, and then we will have the direct line of responsibility. So to summarize, this development is an appalling city development practices, doesn't have any social benefits, and is pushed forward with violations of the due process. So we ask the City of Toronto to defer these proceedings to allow for this proper consultations, interactions with the developer and the landowner, so that we can come to some consensus with respect what do we do in our city. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serge, for sharing those important points with the members of the public. I want to invite our next speaker from No Dem Evictions. Elena, if you don't mind. Just give this on. Ari will be speaking about the public consultation process and the challenges that members of the public are facing when it comes to seeking their concerns through this process. Ari? Just want to introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name's Ira D. I'm with No Dem Evictions. I'm a tenant at 135 Isabella, and we are facing a dem eviction from Kingstead Capital. I'm going to keep this brief. Community and tenant consultations, as much as they are called consultations, they are really more of an information sharing session. Very rarely do we see any feedback that is given from the community or from the tenants to actually be a part of the project. And this means that they are not meaningful consultations. And that is one thing that No Dem Evictions and that many housing advocates ask for, which is just meaningful consultations for our voices to not just be listened to, but to be heard and to be taken into consideration. We are the people who are living in the community. We know more what the community wants and what the community needs, rather than developers who have no interest in our community outside of profits. And lastly, I'm going to say that at the moment, developers, they have their projects being approved, and they don't even need to say what type of residential housing it's going to be. I can say that at 135 Isabella, the project from Kingstead has been approved, the demolition has been approved, and the developer doesn't even know what kind of housing it's going to be. Is it going to be luxury condos, luxury rentals, regular rentals, affordable rent geared to income housing? They have no idea, and they don't need to tell the committee or the city council what type of housing it'll be. So again, it just kind of shows that the consultation process is extremely opaque. It is in favor of developers. There is no meaningful exchange between the community and the city, and this is something that really needs to change.
Thank you so much. Thank you for articulating the challenges we're facing with regards to consultation. I want to invite our next speaker, who is deeply impacted by this development as well. Susan Mitchell is a resident who we were able to engage with through the petitions that we were collecting door to door. Many residents were unaware. They were not aware of this development application or its impact. Some of them heard about this application for the first time yesterday while we were knocking on doors. So Susan, please join us and let us know your first name and last name, and let us know why you're here today. Thank you.
My name is Susan Mitchell. I'm born and bred Torontonian. I love my city, and what I love most about this city is that it's a city of neighborhoods. And the neighborhood I live in is South Cabbagetown on Seton Street. It's a street of historical houses, a leafy, quiet road. And if in fact this project goes ahead, directly across the street from me, which now exists 2 high-rise towers, they want to put 2 additional towers on the same site with access from this quiet little road called Seton Street. We have 2 young children on our street, and I can't imagine the amount of traffic that will ensue if this project goes ahead. Let's just say no to rampant development. The city of neighborhood should not be the city for developers. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, for sharing your passion for our city, for our community, and we really appreciate what you had to say today. Next is our final speaker for today, and Irina also deeply cares about our community. So, Irina, are you ready to share why you're here today?
Sure.
Go ahead, Irina.
Hi, my name is Serena R. I live in a house on Seaton. They are proposing 2 towers brutalistic architecture on Sherbourne that is right behind our house, 2 towers of 43 stories. Our neighborhood was just described as a heritage neighborhood, so the development is in total disrespect to Cabbagetown and the history. And instead of proposing something that is to scale and integrating our community and our houses, they are building these monsters. The councillor is an absentee councillor. He has an agenda, but we don't know what his agenda is. We know he proposed the Sankofa name. We don't know what that means. He's not there for us. And we need to fight this and have this delayed to be able to have more consultation. Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. Thank you so much. Those are all the prepared remarks we have for today. We're going to take questions from the press, and hopefully through this media coverage, there will be discussion within City Council where many residents feel left out of decision making, feel that they're unheard, so that the decision is not considered at City Council on Wednesday, and in fact deferred to the October City Council meeting, where hopefully there will be more robust engagement with the community. So we'll take questions from the press, whoever has any questions.
So do you want no development at all, or do you prefer just to be consulted and know what's going on?
We're not against development. We're against irresponsible development. I'm going to say that again. We are against irresponsible development. You cannot call a Zoom meeting consultation. You cannot call an information session, as my good friend said earlier, consultation. Consultation requires deliberations amongst residents that are deeply impacted by this development application, and the incorporation of their ideas. They're good ideas. Folks around me are good people. They care about this city. They care about their neighborhood, and they deserve respect. They deserve to be acknowledged and their ideas considered before such a huge development. These are 2 buildings, 47, 45 story. None of it is affordable. How can we address the housing crisis when folks are going to be charged almost $3,000 to live in a unit? That is not right. It's wrong. And if our mayor and our council are serious about addressing the housing crisis, they need to put the brakes on this application, send it back to city staff to deliberate with the residents that it's going to impact the most. Okay? Yeah. Go ahead, Sergey.
So we want responsible, thoughtful development which makes the city better. Any development has to create a social surplus for the community. And then this social surplus is split between the landowner, developer, and the community. I see this development not as a creation of social surplus, but largely as a transfer of wealth from the neighborhood to the landowner and the developer. And this is not right. And talking about, the landowner, which is a public Albertan pension plan, they sign up for the responsible investment principles. Now, having a development which does not benefit the community and which is pushed through the city council through a flawed political process is definitely not a responsible investment policy. Thank you.
Well said, Sergey. Any other questions from the media?
Yeah, can you elaborate more on the argument that Chris Moyes received contributions, campaign contributions, and what's the negative impact of this development in the community?
Excellent question, Fred. Well, many of you might know this and some of you might not know, but every elected official has to post their campaign contributions on the City of Toronto website. And we've had residents, investigative journalists. I'm so glad that the Bridge is here and Laura actually broke this story, so thank you, Laura. Basically, when you follow the money, you follow the trail, there was about $10,800 that was associated with the owners of Fitzrovia, which is a for-profit developer, that went to the campaign of Councillor Chris Moyes. At the community council meeting, where many of us were there to speak and depute against the application, I requested the councillor to recuse himself from this very important decision due to the perception of conflict of interest. Unfortunately, the councillor chose not to do so. He did not just only move the motion to approve the development application, but also moved an amendment. So how does that work in a country, in a city, in a province that deeply cares about accountability and transparency, that deeply makes it clear that conflict of interest in decision making is not what the residents of Toronto deserve. So we hoped that the councillor will recuse himself from this decision. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The second part of your question is, this development is going to create more problems. We want affordable housing in this city. We hoped that the developer would consider the fact that we're living in the midst of a housing crisis, that residents of Moss Park deserve affordable housing. We also want to make sure that the community benefits that come with this application also address the needs of local residents. Many residents here want a playground for kids. They want specific changes to the application that will meet their needs, specifically when it comes to traffic congestion. Why are those voices being ignored? And why is this application been pushed forward without the input of residents? That's the problem with this development application, Fred. Thank you. Okay. Any other question? Sergey or anyone else want to add?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. You want to ask a question?
No, I would like to add something.
You want to add something? Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Elena T, and I am the co-chair of the Employment and Economy at the Regent Park. And of course, I know the area of the Moss Park very well because I was living over there for the years. The problem with that property and the area is, and my question is, do that area really has that capacity that really they want to build up such a big buildings inside the other existence 2 buildings? And the problem with those property dealers is, do they really communicate with the residents or not? If they cannot really communicate properly with the residents, if they cannot show their accountability, how we can trust them, what will happen in future, and what is the future of our life in that area. I am really concerned about the congestion of that area, especially with the upcoming Metrolinx line. So what about the problem, future problem, and even eradication of the green parks, eradication of the trees, eradication of the old green area? What will happen to the residents? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Patricia Johnston, and I'm at 145 St. George Street, which is being evicted. It's going to be torn down for condos. By the end of next year at this time, there's approximately 12,000 tenants that are going to be thrown out, and there's no place for them to go. The vacancy rate is approximately 2,000 people if we're lucky. Where do you go? Where are you going to put these people? Where are they going to go? There's already so many people out in the street that are homeless. And every time I ask that question, I get totally ignored because they don't know how to answer it. They don't care. And this is how I think most of us feel, that they're not interested in any of us or where we're going to go or what's going to happen to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Okay, my friends. So this concludes our press conference today. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully this coverage will help inform residents of the plight of residents around 191 200 Sherbourne with regards to this irresponsible development. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
My name is Elena T. I am the co-chair of the Employment and Economic at the Regent Park, and since last 7 years, I am collaborating with the coalition Moss Park. We are in the welfare of the people who are living around the Moss Park, especially since the Metrolinx line it has started, and residents has faced lots of a problem already. And now the reason that I am here to support the people at the 191 and the 201 Sherbourne Street, that I am aware already there are two existing buildings in that area, and they want to arise the two more high-rising in the same area, which this caused the eradication of the greenery area, especially cutting off all the trees and removing, I think they have the very big swimming pool. They removed the swimming pool. And all these eradications, all this destroying, it caused a really stress, for people who are living around the Moss Park area, especially the Seattle, which is the background of the 191 Sherbourne Street area. These people, they are facing lots of discriminations and even inappropriate information towards the building, that never those information has been properly disclosed or discussed with the residents who are living in those areas. So the residents, they ask us, to help them and to support them regarding these high-rising buildings, that they have to get the better accountability towards the residents who are living around those areas. This causes more traffic, definitely, and the cost, it will be rising. And by the upcoming Metrolinx in that area, so I don't think so that it would be a good idea to have them more to rising apartments, that it causes more, I can say, the chaos in those areas. That area is a very old area of the town. Already they are very congested. Already there are lots of apartments. Already there are lots of people around those areas. The traffic in that area is extremely high. By upcoming these two buildings, I think these problems will increase, even not solving. And I'm not sure, how it will be the effect of the two existing buildings in that area.
Good afternoon, Regent Park. I'm so glad that we stood in solidarity with the residents of Moss Park, specifically residents impacted at 191 and 201 Sherbourne Street on Serena Street. We are tired. We are tired of irresponsible development in our neighborhood. This specific development application does not deliver affordable housing, does not commit to community benefits that benefit the residents of Moss Park as well as Regent Park. There are many folks who are in desperate need of affordable housing and home ownership opportunities. And we hope that the Mayor, Olivia Chow, and our City Council will defer this item that is going to be considered this coming Wednesday as City Council to the October City Council meeting, so that we have adequate consultation regarding this development.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all of our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website.